Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe. One of the best matches at the two-night WrestleMania 37, it sure was mine, was the Universal title triple threat between Roman Reigns, Edge and Daniel Bryan. It had great back and forth action, Shakespearean drama, and Roman doing a weird pin which kind of means Edge should be champion right now. But one person wasn't really a fan. The guy at the bottom of the pin heap, Daniel Bryan himself. In an interview with BT Sport, a typically way more honest than WWE would like Bryan admitted he found the match really bizarre and that he felt very out of body in it. The kind of near-death out of body, it seems, as it appears to be making Bryan reevaluate his entire life. When I'm wrestling, I feel everything and feel like I'm enjoying it. This was weird. I was out there and it felt like I was detached. It was so strange that before the match started, I got this strange feeling like, oh no, is this what it's like before you die? Am I going to die? Huh. Well, okay. I don't know why or how it happened, but it was unlike anything I've felt while wrestling. And it's making Bryan consider stepping away from wrestling altogether. Maybe it was a sign that it's time to let go of being a full-time wrestler. Like I said, I'm either gonna die, or maybe it's a sign that this isn't it, and it isn't the same type of fulfillment that it was before. Bryan then revealed in that same interview, my contract is up relatively soon. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing with my life. Oh my god, is this really happening? It is! It's time to dust off an old gimmick we haven't had since the last time Bryan kept saying he was going to leave WWE. The how many does Daniel Bryan give counter? Let's check in there. Does he just want to go to the forest and chop wood like a lumberjack? It's no It's back to zero again, guys. Daniel Bryan to AEW confirmed. What would you like to see Daniel Bryan do next? Let us know in the comments down below because I'll be replying to people from out of nowhere. Sucks to be Bryan though, because if he really does retire, he'll miss out on his favourite twice-a-year pay-per-view, the ethnically complex, morally dubious paid show in Saudi Arabia. WWE's 10-year and Souls of Your Firstborn deal with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia means they have to put on 2 shows a year there. But because of the pandemic, they're a little behind on their quota. With vaccine rollouts and optimism for a global recovery though, even though there are more coronavirus cases in the world right now than any other point in the pandemic, WrestleVotes is reporting 2 WWE sources indicate that an event in Saudi Arabia prior to the end of 2021 is very much on the table. I, for one, cannot wait to see Goldberg beat my favourite wrestler for their title then. One big star who definitely won't be on the show though is Ronda Rousey. And it's not just because she's a woman. Ronda has announced on her YouTube channel she's expecting her first child with husband Travis Browne, with the baby set to debut on the main roster of Reality on the 22nd of September. Ronda's original extended WWE contract expired over WrestleMania weekend, after only wrestling for 1 of the 3 years she was signed. Congratulations to Ronda and Travis, and also congratulations to NXT, who pulled in 841,000 viewers on Tuesday, a steady growth against strong news competition. But well wishes are more in order for former WWE star EC3, who has revealed on Instagram that he's been hospitalized with an infection for 5 days and will need longer. It's Thursday, you know what that means. It's time for my review of last night's AEW Dynamite in about 5 minutes. Dynamite opened on Hangman Page versus Ricky Starks in a solid match where Page busted out a beautiful pump handle half Nelson bridging fall away slam pin. That's like me trying to create a finisher in 2K14. Presumably because he was going to tap out relatively quickly, Starks sold an injured ankle throughout, which rather threw the psychology off, making Ricky, the heel, a bit of a sympathetic babyface. Team Taz attacked Page afterwards, setting up Hangman versus Brian Cage next week, and Dark Order made the save. Trent versus Pentagon also didn't have a story going into it, so they made up for it by just starting with the final third of the match, a pile driver on the ring apron, and having Penta debuting his new variant, Bat Penta. It's good, but it's not Penta in a hat. Penta's translator/manager Alex Abrahantes said Trent's Mum sucks, letting Penta take out Orange Cassidy and Abrahantes hit Trent with the mic to win, setting up Cassidy versus Penta for next week. This was fine, but I really want Pentagon to be doing something more high profile. All sat on boy band chairs ready for the key change, the Pinnacle got to cut a retort on Jericho's Immortal promo, which didn't really say anything new, which the Inner Circle answered later on during a Tony Schiavone in-ring interview, which somehow didn't get interrupted, and where they managed to say May 5th blood and guts about 82 times. Santa and Wardlow both stood out on the mic, and they set up an in-ring confrontation parlay segment for next week. In the first of the two big title matches on this show, we got Shida versus Tay Conti in a great TV bout based on babyfaces respecting each other. Conti's pump kicks are so awesome, and she's so exciting to watch grow as a wrestler. If she's this good just a year after shaking off the NXT plateau, think how good she'll be in a few years' time. Especially because her selling will work far better against an evil heel champion as a babyface in peril. I actually thought Conti had won it off a TKO near fall, but a brutal spinning knee from Shida retained. Britt Baker then revealed she's the #1 ranked challenger, presumably setting up the big Double or Nothing women's title program. In a storyline that's exceeding all expectations, the Nightmare Factory versus the Nightmare Family feud saw Billy Gunn take on QT Marshall next. Gunn looked great as the grizzled veteran, and QT's Tony Soprano-like transition from trainer to mob boss has suddenly made him one of the most interesting characters in AEW. The various factions brawled at ringside, letting Anthony Ogogo hit a gut punch on Gunn behind the referee's back for QT to pick up the win. Dustin Rhodes ran down for the save afterwards and smashed a wooden chair on Nick Kamaroto's head, which he awesomely no-sold. Then the show cut to the Elite in their own personal trailer with their own personal cameraman. And if you didn't get that they're douchebags enough from that, they then proceeded to tell you how great they are. There was only a token mention of Omega's Impact World title match against Rich Swann this Sunday though, which I think could have done with a big angle, but instead, AEW had something else planned. Speedy getaways. Omega's promo on Swann kept getting interrupted by some horn honking outside, which was revealed to be Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley in a 4x4, which they drove into the side of the trailer ready to bust some heads. It was an awesome angle. Eddie smashed in a window with a tire iron, they stormed inside to beat up the heels, and nobody was there. Moxley and Kingston were really good together, but it was a weird finish that wasn't satisfyingly explained. Did the Elite sneak away? And if so, why wouldn't they just jump Mox and Kingston from behind? There's 5 of them. Or were they in a secret second trailer just beneath the main trailer? But then how did they hear the horn? This could have been a terrific angle, but instead it just came across as filler, which is slightly frustrating when this week would have been much better served putting over Omega versus Swann. I get you want to focus on your own company, but surely your champion winning another company's championship does that too in a big way. Christian's first AEW match was in the solid hands of Kaz, so it was interesting to see him work with the much younger powerhouse Hobbs. Turns out, Christian is just great everywhere. They had a really good match, with Christian mostly selling and taking advantage of Hobbs' cockiness at the end to win with a kill switch. And the main event to continue building younger talent was Darby Allin versus Jungle Boy for the TNT Championship. This was an awesome match, starting off technical, spilling out into a brawl, having the presence of Sting at ringside, and the great drama near the end of not just being against each other, but also against the clock with the show duration time limit. Luchasaurus and Sting ended up brawling in a fight that looked like my childhood wrestling promotion made up of random action figures, leading to Darby just winning with the Last Supper pin. Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky beat up Darby afterwards, but Lance Archer and Sting made the save in a slightly anticlimactic finish. I would have preferred them to focus on Darby and Jungle Boy. I do massively respect AEW for putting so much faith in the young, homegrown talent. That's exactly what the company has always said it wanted to do, build new stars. But this is an episode coming off one of their biggest ratings of all time. You likely had a lot of new viewers watching. There's a definite argument to establish people like Darby and Jungle Boy in those new viewers' mindsets right away as main eventers, but it's also a very risky strategy. This is me in my casual viewer hat now, not me as a wrestling fan. New viewers are incredibly fickle. They haven't built the habit yet. And if they're watching relatively small guys they haven't seen before, not your Omegas, Codys, Moxleys and Young Bucks, there's a very real risk they just turn off. Not because they hate it, just because they want to see what else is on. Having Sting out there will hopefully ensure against that somewhat, but rather fittingly for AEW, it's a very double or nothing strategy. Really hope it pays off, but I don't think I would have been brave enough to risk it. What did you think of Dynamite? Let me know in the comments down below, and vote in our poll on a poll match on the community tab, where 77% have gone for It's Like Christian Never Left. By AEW standards, I thought this was an average show. The matches were great, but a lot of them lacked storyline feuds going into them, and the majority of the big stars weren't in action, which, like I said, is potentially risky booking when you've just been handed 500,000 extra viewers by the competition. This week's Dynamite is 3 out of 5. Come argue with me and Luke about that in our live stream review today by subscribing to the WrestleTalk podcast channel. Tell them what's coming up, Luke.
Coming up on the WrestleTalk podcast today, we'll be reviewing AEW Dynamite in detail, including all of your thoughts on the show as well. Was it a 3 out of 5 show, as Ollie Davis argues? All that and more on the WrestleTalk podcast this afternoon. Or this morning if you're in America.
Click the video on the right for mine and Luke's full Dynamite podcast review. And is WWE punishing Charlotte Flair backstage over Andrade's release? Click the video below that to find out what's been going on behind the scenes. And please give us a subscribe, as we're so close to 800,000 subscribers. I've been Mr. Davis. Jam that jam.